Fourth grade into math lesson 1.3, regroup and rename numbers. I can regroup and rename multi-digit whole numbers. Start your learning. There are about 18,500 known species of butterflies in the world. Show how you can regroup and rename the number 18,500 in 5 different ways. Okay, so one way we could do it would be to do our expanded form, right? Okay, and so we can do the 10,000 plus 8,000 plus 500, and then that would be it for that, right? Okay. Could we also, how many zeros are on there? 2, right? Okay, so what could we say? What is 2 zeros also associated with? Is that also with hundreds? Yeah. So this was one way. The second way is we could say that we had 185 hundredths. If I just use 1 0, that's a what? If 2 is hundreds, what's 1 0? Tens, right? So if I did 10, that would be 1,850 tens. Okay. Could I also write it in word form? Yes. Okay. So another way would be word form. So how would I say that? How do I say this number?
1,000. No, 18,000.
18,000. Oh, 18,000. Hold on, let me fix that. 18,000 and then 500. Okay, and then can I also use base 10 blocks? Yeah. So if I did that, I'd have to draw 18, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, right? Yep. And put the letter T in them for thousands. And then how many flats or hundreds would I have to draw? Not a lot, this many, but how many flats? How many hundreds do I have? 500. So I'd have to do 5 flats. Build understanding number 1. The North American Butterfly Association runs about 450 butterfly counts. Each year, volunteers count all of the butterflies observed within a 15-mile count circle in a one-day period. For this year's count, Dr. Fiona ordered 1,700 pencils. Show 1,700 using a large cube and flats. Then draw a quick picture to show your work. Okay, so we said that in order to draw, you could draw a cube, but we don't have to make it 3D. So in order to do that, we're going to draw, how many thousands do we have? 1, right? Okay, so we're going to draw 1 and put a T in it, right? Okay, how many hundreds do we have? What number is in the hundreds spot, guys? 7. Yeah, so down here, okay, because we're talking about the pencil. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So our number cubes or base 10 blocks represent 1,700. So what is another name for 1,700 using thousands and hundreds? So remember how we just talked about how that has 2 zeros? So we can also say it is what? If I drop the zeros, I can say 17. And then how much is 2 zeros? What did we say? 100. Okay. So then if I was going to go write that from there, I would have to put 1, 7, and 2 zeros. And then does that show us 1,700?
Yes.
Yeah. So when you regroup a number, you can exchange amounts of equal value to rename a number. So 1,700 is the same as 1,700. If you regroup the thousands cube as flats, how many flats would you need? So we would need 17 of them, right?
Yeah.
Well, we need 17 of the flats, or if we regroup this cube, we would need 10 flats, right? And then how many total flats would we have then? We'd have the original 7 we had, plus the new 10 to have how many flats? What's 10 plus 7?
17.
So 17 flats. So how can you rename 1,700 as hundreds? We did that up here, right, guys? So 1,700. Or this would have been equal to 1,700. Okay. Step it out. Number 2, Dr. Fiona also needs 100,000 recording sheets for the butterfly count. How can you use a place value chart to regroup and rename 100,000? Write 100,000 in the place value chart. So start from the right, put in our 5 zeros, and then put in our 1. Okay, so we have 100,000. Okay, and then when they come over here to the tens, what are we at? 10 would be in that bracket, right? Okay, the orangish color for thousands would be what? 100, right? So guys, basically these kept on going up, okay? This line, is that like a bluish color? Okay, what's that? That's 1,000 hundredths. Okay, and then what's the next color? Like a pinkish maroonish color. Okay, so what is that now? 10,000 tens, right? Okay, and then we have down here 100,000 ones. Check understanding. Use the place value chart to help you regroup and rename the numbers. Okay, so 23 10,000s is the same as how many hundreds? So if I did 23 10,000, okay, so where would that go? It'd go here, right? Yeah. Okay, so we already have thousands, and what would I have left? If I get rid of this says hundreds, so if I get rid of 2 zeros, what am I left with? 2,300. Okay, so this time I'm going to erase this and then rewrite my zeros. Okay, so this time I have thousands. How many thousands are there, or how many zeros are there in 1,000? 3, right? So I'm going to get rid of 3 zeros, and I'm left with what? 230. Okay. All right. Then I'm going to erase my work here again. I'm going to write my zeros in there. Okay. Tens. How many zeros are there in 10? 1, right? So I'm going to get rid of 1 zero, and I'm left with 23,000. On your own. Number 4, Jenna used base 10 blocks to show that 2,400 people went to a swim meet. How can you regroup and rename 2,400? Okay, so we have the 2,400 hundreds. How many zeros are there in hundreds? So if I would go write 100, how many zeros do I have? 2. So I'm going to get rid of 2 zeros, and I'm left with what? 24. So 2400. So today on your homework, when I say to show work, your work is simply going to be marking off, and that's it. You don't show it though, you're going to miss a point. Okay? So make sure you're doing that when you do your homework. Number 5, open-ended. Adrian split up Jenna's base 10 blocks to show half the number of people that went to the swim meet. How can you regroup and name half of 2,400? Okay, so we could do that in ones, right? All right, so what is half of 24? Does anybody know what 24 divided by 2 is? 12, right? So I would do 1,000. So we said 12, right? But can I just forget about the zeros? No. So it'd be 1,201. Okay, regroup and rename the number 520,000. Use the place value chart to help. Okay, so I have, let's see, 520,000. Okay, they already put the 520 for me, so I'm gonna just simple little line through that. Okay, now how many zeros do I have left? I have 3 left. So is there 3 zeros in one? 10, hundreds, thousands, 10,000s, 100,000s. What one of those units has 3 zeros in it? Thousands, right? Okay, regroup and rename the number. So they said tens. How many zeros are in 10? If I wrote the number 10, how many zeros are in it? 1. So I'm going to get rid of 1 zero over here, and what am I left with? 49. Okay. Number 8. They gave us 560,000, and they want to know what that can also be equal to. So what is similar on both sides? The what? 56. So I'm going to get rid of the 56. I'm going to go like that. Okay. So how many zeros am I left with? 4 zeros. So is that 1, 10s, hundreds, thousands, 10,000s, 100,000s? What has 4 zeros in it? 10,000s. Number 9, attend to precision. Students out of school collected 11,000 cans of food for the community food pantry. They can pack the cans in boxes of 100 to take them to the pantry. How many boxes will they need to pack all the cans? So we have the 11,000 cans, we have 100 boxes, and then they need to know how many boxes they will need. So I'm basically going to take 11,000 divided by 100. Okay, so what have you been doing? When we have things similar, we mark off the zeros, right? The same number of zeros. So this one has how many zeros? 2. So I'm going to mark off 2 zeros up here. And what am I left with? What number am I left with? If I mark off 2 zeros, what am I left with?
1,000.
No. If I have 11,000 and I mark off the 2 zeros, I am left with 110. So how many boxes do they need? 110 boxes.